There is a quiet experience that many intelligent people go through at different moments in their life, but it is rarely discussed openly. It is the subtle feeling of being slightly different from the people around you. Not necessarily better, not necessarily worse, but simply different in the way your mind processes the world. Part 61 explores the psychology behind why intelligent people often feel this sense of difference in social environments in daily life. Many people assume intelligence only means solving complex problems or understanding difficult concepts. But intelligence also affects how the mind observes situations, interprets conversations, and processes emotional signals. For individuals with highly analytical or reflective minds, everyday experiences often contain more layers than they appear to have on the surface. A simple conversation can lead to several different interpretations. A small event can trigger long chains of thought about motivations, consequences, and deeper meaning. While other people move quickly from one moment to another, the reflective mind may remain focused on exploring what just happened. This difference in mental processing can create a quiet sense of distance during social interactions. Part 61 explains that intelligent individuals often notice patterns that others overlook. The human brain naturally searches for patterns in order to understand the environment, but highly analytical minds tend to detect these patterns more quickly and more frequently. They may notice behavioral habits in people, subtle inconsistencies in conversations, or repeating themes in relationships and social groups. This ability allows them to understand complex situations with greater clarity, but it can also make ordinary interactions feel predictable. When you see patterns that others do not recognize, conversations may feel repetitive because you already understand where the situation is likely heading. Another factor that contributes to this feeling of difference is curiosity. Many intelligent individuals possess strong curiosity about how things work. They want to understand ideas deeply rather than accepting simple explanations. Instead of stopping at the first answer, their mind continues asking additional questions. Why does this happen? What is the deeper reason behind this behavior? What does this reveal about human nature? This constant search for understanding often leads to intellectual growth and creativity, but it can also make small talk and surface-level conversations feel less engaging. When the mind prefers exploring complex ideas, ordinary discussions may feel incomplete. Part 61 also examines how intelligent individuals often develop strong introspection. Introspection means the ability to observe your own thoughts and emotions with awareness. People who think deeply about themselves often analyze their motivations, reactions, and decisions. They ask questions such as why they responded to a situation in a certain way, or what their feelings reveal about their values. This habit of self-reflection gradually increases emotional awareness. While this awareness can lead to personal growth, it can also make social environments feel confusing. When you understand your own emotional patterns deeply, you may begin noticing how differently other people approach emotions and decisions. Another reason intelligent people sometimes feel different is sensitivity to complexity. Many social environments rely on simple communication patterns. Conversations move quickly, topics change rapidly, and people often prefer clear conclusions rather than complex discussions. But analytical minds tend to see multiple possibilities in every situation. Instead of accepting a single interpretation, they consider several perspectives at once. This ability can make decision-making slower because the mind is exploring all possible outcomes before reaching a conclusion. In fast-paced social environments, this depth of thinking can create the impression that you are out of sync with the conversation. Part 61 also highlights an interesting paradox about intelligence. While intelligent individuals often understand others very well, they may sometimes feel misunderstood themselves. Because their thinking patterns involve deeper reflection, their explanations may include ideas that others are not expecting. When those ideas are simplified or misunderstood, the individual may begin feeling that their inner world is difficult to communicate clearly. This does not mean other people are incapable of understanding them. It simply means the translation between complex internal thoughts and everyday language can sometimes feel incomplete. Another important aspect explored in Part 61 is independence of thought. Intelligent individuals often develop the habit of forming their own conclusions rather than simply accepting opinions from others. They analyze information, compare perspectives, and evaluate evidence before deciding what they believe. While this habit encourages critical thinking, it can also make social conformity less comfortable. When a group strongly agrees on something that does not make sense to the analytical mind, the individual may feel a quiet, internal conflict. They may remain silent to avoid unnecessary disagreement, but internally they continue evaluating the situation. Part 61 also discusses how intelligent individuals often spend more time in their own thoughts. This does not necessarily mean they avoid people. Instead, it reflects the richness of their internal world. Ideas, questions, memories, and observations form a continuous stream of mental activity. This inner dialogue can be deeply engaging, sometimes even more engaging than external conversation. Because of this, moments of solitude often feel restorative rather than lonely. Solitude allows the mind to explore ideas freely without interruption. However, this tendency toward deep thought can sometimes create the illusion of isolation. When the mind operates at a different pace than the surrounding environment, the person may feel like an observer rather than a participant in certain situations. They listen, they watch, and they understand the dynamics of the room, but they may not always feel fully synchronized with the conversation happening around them. Part 61 moves toward an important realization. Feeling different does not mean being disconnected from others. It simply reflects the unique way each mind processes the world. Intelligent individuals often experience deeper curiosity, stronger pattern recognition, and greater introspection. These qualities can create moments of distance, but they also allow for creativity, empathy, and insight. Part 61 ends with a powerful perspective. Intelligence is not only about knowledge or analytical ability, it is also about awareness, awareness of patterns, emotions, ideas, and possibilities. When someone feels different because of how their mind works, it does not mean they are separate from others. It simply means they are observing the same world through a lens that reveals more detail than most people are used to seeing. And with time, many intelligent individuals discover that the qualities that once made them feel different are the same qualities that allow them to understand the world in ways that others eventually begin to appreciate.